Hey everyone, welcome back. Excuse me. I'm sitting outside, beautiful day, supposed to be in the 80s. A lot nicer to sit out here than in my little shop. But you'll have to excuse the traffic noise is horrendous today. And we also have new neighbors, and they have a dog little yip yip dog that barks a lot. So I hope nothing disturbs this real bad. Anyway, what I am going to do today is I am going to start a cane. And as you can see, I've got a threaded rod, excuse me for looking down, a threaded rod in here. This I was doing just for an experiment to see if I could get it centered in here. This is a 1 inch. And to get the hole straight in, plus getting it glued in, and then having it so you can sand down the outside. This here goes on it after it's glued in, and this accepts the brass collar that goes under it. But it's smaller, it's like 7/8, so it has a little bit of overhang here that has to be sanded down to meet the brass. You can't get too aggressive, but I put pencil, I marked pencil all the way around here, so I had kind of a guide on how much to really take off. But this is, let me show you the handle that's going to go on it. I think it's pretty cool. Alligator. Isn't that slick? Now that hooks up to that, and then this goes on, and everything gets glued into place afterwards. But this is what it will, and I think this is hard maple. I mean, really hard maple. It's quite heavy, but it's a beautiful, beautiful piece of wood, and I think it's going to make a glorious cane. But I want to get this sanded down so it's as even to this as I can get it. Now, when I was doing my gunsmithing and doing stocks, I would put say a new butt plate on a stock. To get it to match the stock, I would wrap electrical tape around the edge of the stock. That way, when I sanded on the butt plate, it would hit the electrical tape before it scratched the stock, which you would have to do because a lot of the stocks are very expensive. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to get it down so far, and then I'll wrap electrical tape around this and get it down a little bit closer. But I'm going to be using my blocks. These are just wonderful, wonderful blocks. And I'm going to use these. This will be the first time I've ever used them on this type of project. But don't you think that little gator's pretty neat? I do. This is going to be getting this sanded down right, sand the whole thing down right, and like I said, I think I'm going to stain this what they call real black. I believe that's the name of it, real black. It shows some of the grain, but it's really a very black, and when it's all done, it's very shiny black. So this is going to be the start. So let me get the camera set up. I hope I haven't babbled on too much, and start sanding this down. Okay, back in bed. Okay, let's get this going here. Uh, One thing I forgot to mention is that I use epoxy, two-part clear, to glue all this stuff in. It's of course, everybody knows epoxy is unbelievably strong. So when everything's glued in, nothing will move. But anyway, let me get going on this and we'll see what we can get done. Well, I'm back. I changed my mind. I decided to use painter's tape. It's the perfect width for this, so I don't scratch it in any way. And I went to a new 80 grit. Hope you can see it. 80 grit on. Yep. See how this will work. So. Okay, I just went over it with a 400 grit. Let's take a look at it. I know one thing. Oh yeah, that looks pretty nice. That looks nice. But like I said, I know one thing, why they call it hard rock maple. It's not hard rock maple, it's hard as a rock maple. So to protect that end, I am going to tape it so I don't go up and touch it again and undercut it. Because that would not be good, especially as much sanding has had to be done on this. But now the whole thing has to be sanded. So I'll sand a little bit on it and see how that goes. Now, I'm going to take the tape off. This stuff doesn't shed any sticky stuff, but I'm not going to take any chances. Do a light sanding here. You don't want to take anything off, because you don't want, like I said before, you don't want your stick to be undercut. There it is. Get my pieces here and slide it back together. There it is. There it is. I like it. Now, I will take all this off. Let me get the camera back up here. Okay. Take all this other stuff back off. Get things set up so I can stain it. So I'm going to turn the camera off because I got to get the piece up here and get it set up so I can put this up and it'll stay straight up and down so it'll dry that way. So be back to you in a bit. Okay, now I'm ready to go ahead and stain this. Got everything all set up. So I guess no time like the present to get on with it. And yes, this is black. And this is why I wear gloves to keep my pinkies. Otherwise, this here, my hands would be black for weeks because it just does not come off that good. Okay. Yeah. Getting it all taken off here. The black really looks black, but it does let the grain of the wood come through, especially once the polyurethane is on it. It really brings everything out. So here it is. You can't see anything right now because it's just black. So we'll get back to you as soon as it's dry and we go to put on a coat of polyurethane. We'll let this dry now. So get back to you in a little bit. Bye-bye. I wanted to say a little something about excuse me, my stick that I just stained. I didn't film how I drilled the hole in the end and put the threaded rod in there and then put the epoxy in, but because it was just kind of an experiment to see if I could even do it and it would work, because everything has to be so almost perfect, and you know, the first one I've ever done. So what I'm going to do is, if this one comes out like I think it's going to, I think it's going to look pretty darn nice. I am going to do another cane with a different style handle, with the same ends as this, but a different figure on the end, a duck or whatever. Anyway, and then I will go through it step by step on how I drill the hole, get the epoxy, get it all in, because you have to fill that hole up almost 3/4 of the way. So you drill a 7/16 hole with a wood bit, and then put that epoxy in, and hopefully it fills it up about 3/4 of the way, and then you slide that threaded rod down in it, and then you make sure that it's sitting centered inside of that 1-inch dowel, and or doesn't have to be a dowel, but make sure it's centered in there, and then I put tape on it to hold it, so it's quite a thing. And how I got the piece centered is I put the end on it here, and then made sure it was centered all the way around the best I could, and then put tape over top of it and let it glue. So right or wrong, that's how I did it. So next time I will do that from start to finish on the cane, how I put that threaded rod in, and steps right on back down through, just like I did this one. So just wanted to get that in there so everybody would think, you know, it's wow, it's kind of dumb you didn't, you know, put that on tape, but it was just one of them things where I thought, I don't know if it's going to come out or not. So, but anyway, this is what you put on the end over top, and then you tape everything, and I think they're going to be pretty neat. I think as long as I got one that was pretty good and sanded down pretty decent. I don't exactly, you know, I have to say this, I found out how you don't want to try to sand it down. I got kind of a different shape at the top, which is not bad, but I like the standard complete taper, but I've got kind of a little belly in it, and it tapers up to the top. But I mean, it's going to look fine. It's going to look fine. But anyway, I just wanted to get that in there. I'm sitting here babbling on and on and on.